Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking one more look at the Lego Creator 3-in-1 Cute Bunny set. This is set number 31162. It has 326 pieces and I paid $20 for it. I've already done videos looking at the main build, the first alternate build, that's like the baby llama, the second alternate build, which is like the baby seal, at least that's what I'm calling them, but the cute bunny, the llama, and the seal. And that means in this video, I've been sort of talking about it in all of the other videos. I bought this set for this reason, which is to build this someone else's creation, kind of not a mock. Mock usually stands for my own creation. This is somebody else's based on the instructions that they put out, and that creator's name goes by at Dicken_22. So at DICKEN_TU, sorry, 222, or ta-ta-ta, and it, on the instructions that I have, they sort of have those T's. They're kind of stylized like Lego, kind of like minifig heads on there. And it said designed by at like three little Lego things and then DICKEN. So I don't know who they are. I believe you can find them on various social media places. If you look up at DICKEN Lego Instagram or something on a search, you'll probably find them. I think they're maybe on other social platforms as well. I don't have accounts on those platforms, so I'm not sure. They may be on YouTube, but I don't know about it. But I do want to give them credit for designing this. I saw this first, I believe, on a subreddit and seemed really interesting to me, and then I sought out the directions, and I'm excited to look at this. So this is going to be a build and review of the Facehugger model from the Alien franchise. So really excited for this. If you're familiar with that, it's like a horror sci-fi series that is up there for me. I really like the original. I actually like Aliens a good amount too. I like Alien 3 and Alien 4 well enough. I actually like Prometheus a lot. I don't like Alien Covenant. I thought the recent one, what was it? Alien... Oh, shoot. I don't remember what the most recent one was, but I liked it. And it's just a franchise that's been with me for a long time. I think the xenomorphs and the facehuggers and the chest bursters and all that stuff are really great design, H.R. Geiger inspired work. And I don't think that's something that really will ever be an official Lego product. So I wanted to take the opportunity to build one here. Especially, I'm not like a super amazing accomplished mock designer, so I'm just very grateful for the person that designed this and putting their instructions out there for free, such that I can make this here. So if you like this, I want to give them credit. Go out and support them in whatever way. I wasn't really able to find a way for me to contact them because I didn't see this on Rebrickable or anything like that, so I couldn't reach out to them to get the permission on this. If they somehow see this down the line and want me to take it down or want to discuss it or something, then they can get maybe in touch with me and we can sort of figure something out there. But as far as I know, they put this out there semi-publicly or explicitly publicly, and so I don't know if they have really much issue with people building it and showcasing that. So with that said, I'm excited to look at this. While I build, I'll speed the video up and then I'll slow it back down to review the Facehugger from Alien model of this Lego Creator 3-in-1 Cute Bunny set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this fan-made model designed by at DICKENS_TUTUTU at Dickens_222. I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. The build for this was challenging in some ways because the connections are not the same as what Lego would do. And I don't know if it breaks a ton of rules, but also the instructions weren't always in, like, I would say, the most optimized order, and that makes the build experience a little bit different, but it's a nice change of pace to have to do that. And I really like this. You can already see this taking shape if you're familiar with the Alien franchise and some of the creatures that are in there. This is a pretty iconic one, and we already have a lot of the kind of main structure of this. So then we're going to work on some finer details here. You saw me, I had to take off some pieces and put on some pieces. I'll have to do that again after I build these sub-assemblies, and then we will work on the tail. The tail is its own kind of like sub-build here. It is pretty substantial. There was kind of an error in the initial instructions, but the designer and person who made the instructions did issue an amendment or a correction, and I did eventually find that, so I was able to correct it using only the pieces that are in this set. So just took a little bit of undoing and then redoing with some pieces swapped in to make use of a piece somewhere else where we needed it and put other pieces in its place, which is kind of the part of figuring stuff like this out. So that's really, really great. And now that it's almost finished up, onto my review for the fan-made model of this Facehugger. Thanks. Okay, so that is the build for this fan-created alternate model, the Facehugger, sort of xenomorph baby or young xenomorph-ish creature from the Alien franchise, built using the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Cute Bunny set 31162. So this was designed by at Dickin on certain social medias. They are at DICKEN_TUTUTU. So Dickin222 or ta or something. But occasionally I've seen their kind of tag, their name stylized a little bit differently. But if you're interested in this, and just in case they whatever, I just want them to get credit because this is really pretty cool, and I'm going to take a look at this. So I don't often do these fan-made models, but occasionally I do, and I think it's nice. But I did want to do this because this is a huge, forgive me for that, this is a huge part of the reason I bought this Cute Bunny set, and I'm really glad I did. I mean, the first thing we'll get into is the leftover pieces, and that's kind of interesting. Over here is the extra pieces. Now, these are the extra pieces that are like light enough, small enough that Lego, when they're packaging these products, they include an extra of. And interestingly enough, for this build, I believe I had to make use of one of the kind of traditional extra pieces that would be over here, the kind of 1x2 rounded tile, not the one that is used for like the llama eyes, or yeah, I guess the llama eyes. I'll try to show them. I know that they're used at various points in this. So not this 1x2 rounded tile. I'm talking about kind of the half crescent one, which is a different piece altogether. I think the set really only has one or two of them in the inventory, the Cute Bunny set, maybe one, and I needed two of them, and so I grabbed the one from the extra pieces there. And other than that, 2x6 brick, 2x6 plate, couple brackets, some of the more colorful pieces not being used, none of like the leaf pieces not used, some of these joint pieces not being used here. But actually, I think this one uses more pieces than either of the official alternate builds, being the llama and the seal. So that's kind of interesting. And this was a unique building experience. One of the things with mocks and with like fan-made designs like this is that, especially when they're making use of an existing set, and then even for like the Bricklink Designer program and stuff like that, there are techniques used in here. There is build kind of operations, which the Lego group itself in designing a set would not approve or would not, allow. I don't know if there's anything in here that's like explicitly illegal in the context of Lego building, but there is some pretty weak connections in here, and there is some stuff that, in terms of building it, that are not kind of challenging to manage. The instructions for this, big credit to the person who made them, but they weren't like up to the level in terms of accessibility or like readability or how to interpret those wasn't as up to the level of the Lego group's like official instructions. So there was some challenges here, but this was a really, really interesting build. I think the model at the end looks pretty great. So looking at the underside, I'm going to kind of focus on the main body here. You actually start on this level, which is a couple of these plates. So these 3x3 rounded plates, some 2x3s in there. We stack up some 2x4 white plates in the middle of that. We add the ball joints very, very early, and then we start kind of building up the structure at the front. Because this creature has a very particular look, there's sort of eight-legged almost, or they're an interesting looking thing there. So we did lay the groundwork for these appendages up here, which can be, they kind of look like fingers, or but they're like arms or legs, and they use them to crawl, but their bodies are just interesting because they are potentially a, I don't know, maybe they're a perfect organism, or maybe that's the xenomorph, but these are, important processes on the way that, or the important parts of the process of the way that like a xenomorph might reproduce, at least as far as I understand it. So, this is really pretty cool. Looking at the like legs, once we add on a couple of the mixel ball joints in there. Then up at the front, we do something where these are on just a like one stud or something, but we have some room. Actually, this is that 1x2 I was talking about. That's kind of that half circle, or like two of these put together, and there's one over here and one over here, and then that helps with like the angle that these front ones can be put at. The front ones are the first ones you put on. The side ones here, you can move them with the because of the ball joint. The ones kind of in the middle at the back, they actually use that hollow stud. Whoops. Where did that come off of? The hollow stud pieces that are like the headlight hollow studs that are shorter, the rounded ones, stud on the side, rounded open piece. You can kind of see it in there. They're like 2/3 height. And then the 1x1 open stud with the bar coming off of it. Again, we might have used all of those. So those are used in there. So you can kind of position these a little bit, but not a ton. Actually, these sort of flaps on the back, which I think in the canon, like those go kind of around the host's mouth, and these kind of grip on maybe the sort of head of the thing, and whatever. But these kind of bits back here are actually on a mixel joint as well, so you can kind of move them, but they actually get pretty locked in here. You can't really like raise them up or down super easily, can't really move them side to side, but the angle that they sit at, I think, is really, really good. So that's pretty nice. I think looking at these from the bottom, I'm going to keep knocking these off. One of the things that is difficult about these and different is that, for these pieces that are on these kind of these sort of like pads or whatever these are down here, these areas, these pieces are only attached to one stud. So they don't have anything underneath here connecting them together or connecting them on the other side to the piece that they're studded down to. You know, something like taking one of these and putting them in the bottom makes that a much stronger connection and way less likely to fall off. Now, that actually doesn't change the design of this too much. I still think it looks pretty good. I don't know if I have another one of those in this set that I can, utilize to put over on the other side, but that is an example of something we could do there. There's a lot of things. We could use inverted tiles. We could use these round plates. You could use regular rectangular plates underneath there, but something to get this kind of studded down a little bit more solidly would prevent kind of some of the issues of these being knocked off or coming off, because they are a little bit fragile there. Now, Lego occasionally does do stuff where they have pieces that are only attached on one stud or something like that, but they try to, especially for like things like this, kind of give them a little more structure. I think the sort of appendages up here are also similarly fragile. We have these like kind of finger or like joint elements. We use a bracket here and these kind of slope pieces, but they are just attached one way like that. Now, Lego might do something like that, but I think they might use another piece under here, like one of those inverted slope pieces with these studs. I actually, again, I don't know if there's any more of this, but something like this, but the smoother version. We could make use of this underneath here if we added one more plate in there, but there is like essentially this type of piece inverted with open studs on the side. That's what's used like right here, for example, and right here, for example. Those pieces could be used to kind of lock down these little fingers or give it another connection point between the actual like arm or the length, the 1x1 plate. We could use those to lock that down, and we just don't have those parts here. So in building this, these are prone to fall off, and in handling it, these are prone to fall off. But I think a lot of this is good. I like kind of what we did up at the kind of front sort of area of this. And then looking at the underside of the body, I really appreciated this, and I did not expect this. They made some attempt at giving us important detail on the underside, which is pretty cool. I thought the connection for these like side areas where these studs are on the side and those sub-assemblies were nice. They seem kind of straightforward, but in this instance, the order of operations was really strange, because it had the builder, me in this case, put like these pieces with those, I don't know if they're supposed to be like teeth or like, I don't remember enough, but these kind of elements in here on those 1x2 hollow stud rounded plates with the hollow stud with the bar coming off of it kind of at that angle, those pieces it had put on there before putting on the bracket piece that then attaches underneath there, and that these eventually attach to. So I did have to kind of take it apart or try to like slide the bracket underneath and then stud it down. It ends up looking really good. The connection's not bad, but I think the direction in which the instructions need to be ordered was, not perfect. It did have some difficulty there. I think this is another like nice use of some pieces in here to get that kind of extra detail underneath. And then we move back to the tail, which is kind of its own separate build or assembly that then gets attached on. And the connection point is really, really simple. It does make use of the bigger kind of ball joint piece that was in the Cute Bunny set. Really surprising to me. This is another thing. So these exposed studs here I thought might be covered up in some way. These pieces right on the side are actually this piece here. So it's the 2x2 with kind of the step and the studs on the side. And those are only attached like that. And so that connection is also not, super strong. We just kind of slide this in there. I think it's good for like color blocking and stuff, but something to maybe, we put this in there, it studs into an angled plate up here. So it's maybe doesn't have as much like connection strength or like friction there as other, stud to anti-stud connections. And so those are prone to fall off. Those could come off really, really easily. Something that kind of bridges the gap between these pieces might be useful, but because we use the bracket here, that kind of is like a half step in there. So that's a little bit strange. And then we kind of build that contraption up. I think structurally, like the main core of the body here is actually pretty good. It does make use of these bigger pieces here. There is some gap. If you look right kind of over these flaps, there's some inverted slope bricks in there that are visible from the side, and really the face huggers are not like see-through in that way. Although I think sometimes they are kind of depicted as having like semi-translucent skin, but or whatever their exterior thing is. But this is kind of what it looks like underneath there. So nice use of these parts to really do a lot of the heavy lifting of getting the shape there. I think the proportions for this are actually really, really good. And then looking at the tail, so we build the first part. Now I actually had to build this and then take it apart and redo it because the designer, this at Dickin_222, they made an amendment to their instructions, because the instructions that the original ones that I had, we're making use of an additional I think 2x3 plate in kind of that super light nougat or tan or whatever that is here, which has the kind of that pinkish hue for the underside. And there's only so many of those 2x3s that can be used, and I think they use an extra one. So then they had to change it and make use of some other parts in order to get this the same. So, and the tail was interesting too. A lot of like using the kind of pieces like this along with a 1x1 to make up essentially a 2x2. That's again like not, it doesn't always make for the best connection depending on what element is going to be connected to the 1x1 stud there. But we can see it's a lot of studs on top and some bracket use in here for the sides, which is good. I think this kind of fixing the angle here of the tail, this little slope makes it so, this whole thing isn't, super well connected there. And I actually probably would have preferred, sliding these down so that maybe this goes over there, and I think that is much less likely to come apart now like that. So maybe that's what I'll do. I just don't think, because we have stuff kind of connecting it up here and down there. So I think that is actually a slight improvement here, and there are going to be probably other improvements that could be made, especially if we weren't limited by the pieces existing in this set. But this is made from the pieces in the Cute Bunny Creator 3-in-1 and no extra pieces, or no pieces that are not in the box, which is a feat in and of itself. So we build this up here. We add some clips, or the 1x2 plate with the bar coming off, then some clips over here so we can bend this here for that little section, then more clips, and then the 1x1s with the kind of same bar coming off. And then we build out the end of the tail. So this can be articulated a little bit. If we remove the piece up here, the tail can move even more and can go side to side and different stuff. And actually, I don't think it looks too bad. I don't know if you could put a different like tile here or something, but this does help with kind of one of the things, because for the instructions that I used for this, and the designer's kind of I think social post, that can provide some structure to this, because this is able to stand on its tail, sort of as if it was in a like pouncing kind of form here. And it's a little bit finicky to try to get it to balance. Usually I've found working with the bigger ball joints to kind of angle it is the best way to do that, but it can sort of stand on here. Now, the pressure like that is put, like the way that these pieces are interacting with each other, these pieces are interacting with each other, these pieces, and then the pressure on the like actual joints for this, as well as kind of the very tip of the tail, because that's not flat there. There's actually a very little surface area that like touches whatever surface this is to be like standing up on. I don't know if those are, like officially allowed kind of Lego connections and interactions with pieces. I don't know if that is acceptable. It may be that it is, and so it's not a problem, but I do think it's important to like be able to pose it like this. I think that's really, really cool. It's almost as if it was about to attach to my face or something. And scale wise to my face, this is a little bit small, but it's not bad. It can cover up like beneath the arms or legs or appendages up here, can cover up, a good amount of the face. Traditionally, I think the tail is often used in the sort of process, and lots of other stuff goes on that's maybe inappropriate. That's part of the reason Lego probably wouldn't touch this property. But you can't like coil the tail up or anything, but you get it kind of using its tail as structure. Its tail is, what do they call them? Not vestigial, but like the opposite of that, like a tail that they used for things. And let me see, what is that called? Oh, prehensile. So like certain animals, certain monkeys and different things. I think there's like some lemurs and different, maybe even sloths and stuff that have like prehensile tails, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think, the Facehugger does qualify as having that here. And so that's pretty cool that it can, with a little bit of fine tuning, stand on its tail there, sort of in a action pose. I think I've seen on Rebrickable, which this design was not on, but when I was looking at this set for other things on there, other people have made like smaller versions of this, and people have made chest burster models out of the pieces in this set, a lot of because it's just the tan. I think that's really cool. I don't think I'm going to build a chest burster out of this. I'm not considerate, but I don't know if I will cover that on the channel. But that's a really cool idea as well. And, I'm sure there have been people who make sort of proper xenomorph builds of Lego stuff, but I just haven't encountered them really. And so this was really fun. This was a super fun experience. The build is not perfect. Frankly, it's fragile. It was kind of annoying to build. The instructions weren't as good as the Lego instructions. And like the actual model is not, I don't think, what anyone would expect from an official Lego set. That said, it looks like a Facehugger. It can kind of pose like a Facehugger, and that's like the big kind of draw for me. So I think this is a success. I can't stress enough how much of a challenge it is for Lego designers when they're doing Creator 3-in-1 to like, okay, I'm doing a cute bunny. What else can I make out of this? Like, how else can I use these pieces? How inventive can I get? What pieces can I hide because I know I want to use them later in a different build? And that's like a feat in and of itself. I have a great admiration for mock builders of all kinds, but like alternate builders is a special kind of problem solving, really analyzing like what is available and what can I do with it. And I think this is a really great example of that. I've encountered other great examples of that from, I think the Cool Car set, where I looked at like 3 different or maybe 4 different kind of fan-made rebrickable models for that. But this is, awesome. And there are also people who are making like AATs out of this. You can kind of see how this kind of front part right here might almost look like an AAT, and lots of other stuff. But this like used a good amount of the pieces. It's pretty convincing of a build. It actually can like sit on a desk like this without being too fragile, but if you put like any real pressure on it anyway, it will like, well, actually none of the pieces super fell off there, but these kind of front bits are prone to fall off, same as the, all the ones around the side. But actually I hit that relatively hard and it did not fall off. I had to take off that kind of slope piece there, but if I put that up there for the time being while this lays more flat, essentially, that's not a problem. These can, curl down to touch the floor a little bit, and that's really great. This was really, really fun, a great experience. Even if it was like a bit challenging, I really, really like this. I'm going to keep this built this way with some improvements. I'm going to maybe do some tweaks using pieces that aren't out of the box, that aren't here and weren't available for this kind of experiment. But now that there's like a base kind of look at what a facehugger in Lego form might be like, this can be like a really strong starting point to kind of adapt that and kind of develop it and sort of, continuously improve on the design here. And one of the things about like xenomorphs and face huggers and stuff, they maybe are extremely adaptable and extremely like resilient, and they have in their sort of reproductive mechanism a kind of way to improve and change itself. And, I think that kind of concept lends itself to the Lego system and like this mock making ethos in a really great way. So I think there's like a lot of thematic resonance in doing something like this. And, I don't know if it's ever been represented that a sort of face hugger xenomorph adjacent creature has ever been like, I don't know if a face hugger has ever gone onto a rabbit or a llama or a seal, but I kind of think there is some real connective tissue between all these things, and that's pretty great. I know that I think in Alien 3 or Alien 4 we did see like maybe like a xenomorph come out of a dog, but then I think it's called something different. But like face huggers in their effort to reproduce are able to utilize different hosts, and I just don't know if they've ever used a cute bunny or a cute llama or a cute seal. Either way, I had a blast building about this, blast talking about it. Very happy that somebody did this. It's a great idea. It's not perfectly executed, but it is really, really good. And I'm very grateful that I was able to take a look at this and share my thoughts on this little thing here that is pretty outside of the realm of stuff that Lego would traditionally do. Now, is this so much different than say like a Stranger Things set or stuff like that? I mean, it's hard to say. Like, Stranger Things is very much scary in some ways. It's also like not in other ways, but kind of has a sci-fi fantasy horror elements to it and nostalgia stuff. And, the Demogorgon itself has been represented in Brickheads and other stuff, and we've done like Dungeons and Dragons Lego and things now, and they've also done Monster Fighters and Hidden Side and vaguely scary horror adjacent things, but not a ton. And so I don't know if this would ever be something that they would do. I do not believe, well, does Disney technically own the Alien franchise now? And also, I'm remembering that Alien Romulus was the title of the movie that I couldn't remember when I started this video, which I did like. But I know that Disney has like Predator now, because they were both, Predator was a Fox property, I believe. And I am unsure if Alien might have been 20th Century Fox as well, which means that it could be under the Disney banner, which means that, Lego and Disney have a long-standing, very profitable partnership for a lot of things. I don't think they would ever do this, but I can dream and I can hope. And if they don't, I feel confident and good that like the mock making community and myself and other people out in the world will be able to, with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of problem solving and inventiveness, be able to make whatever we want, even if it's like a Geiger inspired kind of monster. And that is the beauty of it. So I am very, very pleased with this. This was a blast. Let me know if you like stuff like this, or if you want me to cover other like fan-made models in the future, or my own mocks or anything like that. I really enjoyed doing this, and it's a Facehugger from Alien built out of Lego, and it's so funny to me that it comes from a cute bunny set. I just think that's so perfect. So really, really happy with this. And in terms of value, that's a great value for this alone. Like I talked about the set, the cute bunny set, as value with the official builds, but like for me, this was like really worth something, which means I have to like thank the designer of this who put out those instructions, and maybe I can show them the value that this like provided to me, and in financial ways or like material ways, and just with my sincere gratitude. So I think the value here is really, really good. I am a big, big fan. So I think that's it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including maybe more other people's creations, maybe more mocks or alternate builds, or kind of like fan-made alternate builds for different sets. Definitely more Creator 3-in-1, maybe more like sci-fi horror adjacent stuff, and tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shape, size, price point, piece count, tons of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. If you wanted to support my channel and support my videos here, you could do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. There's a Patreon. It's linked in the video description, patreon.com/SoBricks. There's also affiliate links. There's a buy me a coffee link, all of that good stuff. There'll be a link to buy this set that's an affiliate link, but I'll also be putting in a different affiliate link, which is just to a major retailer for like Lego broadly. And it's kind of like if you click that link and buy whatever set you want at no additional cost to you, I might get a percentage commission on that. So that's a big help, and I would appreciate anybody who does that, especially if you're going to be buying a set that you wanted anyway, and you're not paying any additional cost for it. It's just that the major online retailer will give me a small percentage, and that can be a real big support. Every little bit helps. It all adds up. So thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.